Imagine a civilization so powerful that it ruled the world for over 1,000 years. A civilization of warriors and visionaries, tyrants and emperors, one that gave us roads, aqueducts, and words like circus, triumph, and dictator. Welcome! Here's a quick history of the Roman Empire, where we'll trace the rise, rule, and finally, the fall of one of the greatest empires in history. Our story begins in 753 BCE, or so the legend tells us. Rome's mythical founding is steeped in drama. Twin brothers Romulus and Remus, raised by a she-wolf, grow up to establish a city. A bitter dispute follows, and Romulus, after killing his brother, becomes the city's first king. Beyond the myth, the reality is more complex. Early Rome was a small settlement on the banks of the Tiber River, surrounded by powerful neighbors, the Etruscans to the north, the Latins to the south. The city was ideally placed for trade, positioned at a natural crossing point along the river. For nearly 250 years, Rome was ruled by a succession of kings, some legendary and some historical. The first few monarchs expanded Rome's influence, draining swamps, building temples, and establishing laws. The Forum, which would later become the heart of Roman political life, was developed during this time. But Rome's fate changed when Etruscan rulers took control. The Tarquin dynasty brought advancements, but also tyranny. The last king, Tarquin the Proud, was despised for his cruelty. In 509 BCE, an event shook Rome. Tarquin's son attacked a noblewoman named Lucretia. Her tragic death sparked outrage. The Roman aristocracy, led by Lucius Junius Brutus, overthrew the monarchy. With the kings gone, Rome needed a new way to govern itself. The answer? The Republic, a system where power was shared. Instead of a king, Rome was led by two consuls, elected each year. The Senate, made up of aristocrats, advised them. But not everyone had a voice. The Republic was dominated by patricians, the noble elite, while the plebeians, the common people, had little power. Over time, they fought for rights, winning the creation of tribunes, officials who could veto unfair laws. This struggle between classes, known as the conflict of the orders, shaped the Republic. Rome, however, wasn't content to govern just itself. It expanded relentlessly. By 265 BCE, it controlled all of Italy, but Rome's real test came against its greatest rival, Carthage. The Punic Wars, 264 to 146 BCE, saw Rome battle the Carthaginian Empire. The most famous conflict came when Hannibal, a Carthaginian general, led his army, including war elephants, over the Alps. Rome nearly fell, but it struck back under Scipio Africanus. Rome defeated Carthage at Zama in 202 BCE. Later, the city was razed, its population enslaved. With Carthage gone, Rome turned east, conquering Greece, Egypt, and parts of the Middle East. Yet as Rome grew, so did internal tensions. The Senate, meant to guide Rome, became corrupt. Ambitious generals like Julius Caesar sought power for themselves. Caesar, a brilliant military leader, conquered Gaul and gained immense popularity. But when he crossed the Rubicon River in 49 BCE, marching on Rome, it was clear the Republic was in trouble. He took control, declared himself dictator for life, and began reforms. But his rule was short-lived. On March 15, 44 BCE, he was assassinated by senators, including his friend Brutus. Chaos followed. Civil war erupted. Caesar's adopted heir, Octavian, emerged victorious. In 27 BCE, he became Rome's first emperor, Augustus. The Republic was dead. The empire had begun. Under Augustus, Rome entered a golden age, the Pax Romana. 200 years of peace and prosperity. Roads, aqueducts, and monumental buildings like the Colosseum were built. Rome controlled lands from Britain to Egypt. Trade flourished, and the legions ensured stability. But even the mightiest empires crack. The first signs of trouble appeared after Marcus Aurelius. The last of the 5 good emperors died in 180 CE. His son Commodus was a disaster, obsessed with gladiator games. After him, Rome faced instability, civil wars, economic troubles, and plagues. By the 3rd century, the empire was split into east and west to make it easier to govern. The west, including Rome itself, struggled. Barbarian invasions, particularly by the Visigoths and Vandals, weakened Rome. In 410 CE, the Visigoths sacked the city, a shocking event. The final blow came in 476 CE, when the last Western emperor, Romulus Augustulus, was overthrown. The Western Roman Empire was no more. But Rome's story wasn't over. The Eastern Roman Empire, known as the Byzantine Empire, survived another 1,000 years until 1453. Even though the empire fell, its influence lives on. Rome's laws, architecture, and language shaped the modern world. Latin influenced English, Spanish, and French. The Roman Senate inspired modern governments. Even today, we use Roman numerals and build structures echoing their designs. Rome may have fallen, but its legacy is immortal.